Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Today we are going to try to do our best with the drought that we have going on here in West Virginia. This is the worst I've seen it in probably the 24 years I've been here. Definitely the worst I've seen it in the 12 years since I've had pigs. Today is going to be the first day I've ever had to transport water for my pigs. So come along, let me show you what we're going to try to do to help assuage this dryness. So shortly right after I did the deck build in June, we went through this massive heat wave, June and July, and unfortunately coupled with that was very, very little rain. In fact, according to my rain gauge, I've only had a 1/4 inch of rain in the last 4 weeks. Back that up another 4 weeks and probably only had a 1/2 inch rain in that time period. So 2 months, 3/4 inch of rain doesn't get us very far, especially with that high temperature. So the norm for us about this time of year, mid-August, would be for our stream that comes through our main property, so the 100 acres, the watershed that's created from our valley. That stream is seasonal, and it doesn't trickle in July and August, but usually it has holes of water in different places as the water's just slowly percolating through the creek bed, where I can pull water, or I've strategically located access for the pigs to get to those spots. And then our main stream that drains the farms further up above us, that usually always has decent holes of water. One there just below our creek crossing, and of course the big hole of water where Timber likes to swim. Timber's swimming hole is only about 12 inches deep right now, which is crazy because he could get in there and actually swim around. So in anticipation of these type of events, I've put rain catchment on every building we have, minus the house. But the workshop behind you guys has rain catchment. Even the chicken brooder has rain catchment. The farrowing barn up on the hill has rain catchment. And we've been trying to catch as much rain as possible, but since we haven't had any, we've been using all. The farrowing barn only has about that much water left, and we'll check on that in a second. Fortunately, I do have a full IBC tote here at the workshop. I haven't had to tap into it since we've had the drought. So we're actually going to take it, not going to take it, we're going to take the water from it and put it in my mobile IBC tote that's on my utility trailer right now, so I can get water to Merida and Squealy Dam that are at our most furthest back pasture that's completely dried up. So we really have two questions here. Do I have enough drop, and do I have enough hose? The more drop I need requires me to go further down the valley, which then requires more hose. So let's check that first. Okay, so we've got a hose already hooked up to the tote. And the end of it is here somewhere. The end is near. Okay. Oh, maybe. Just a bit outside. Okay. But I actually have some extra hose. So you guys are so far away. I don't know why you guys don't keep up with me. Y'all stand back there all the time. So I'm about 10 feet of hose short. So let me grab you guys, coax you this way. And I've got some extra hose on the trailer we'll add. Now if I've got enough drop, this will flow right into the tank. It'll gravity feed, and of course we can go set the trough and go check on some other things because it's going to take a while for that to happen. If I don't have enough drop, then I'm going to have to put the pump in line. Since this tank already has some water in it, though, I believe possibly get a siphon going. But let's see. Let me go turn some water on. I thought I heard water gurgling. It was for a second. Maybe just blowing air. Oh yeah, she's running. Perfect. Enough drop we have indeed. Okay, so that's going to take, I bet you that's going to take every bit of an hour. So while that's doing that, won't y'all come with me and we'll get the trough set, my mobile trough, water trough for Dan and Merida, and then we can go check on Mongo, Pepper, and Noel and see how they're doing on water. Are you interested in learning homesteading skills or wanting to bring new skills to your existing homestead? Well, join us September the 13th and 14th in Charleston, West Virginia for our inaugural Homesteading-ish conference. We have over 36 individual homesteading presentations from a lineup of over 20 great speakers, including Joel Salatin and this guy. I promise you these 2 days will be information-packed. It'll be a great opportunity to learn and to meet others that are pursuing their own homesteading dreams. But hurry, the amount of tickets are limited and we close ticket sales August the 30th. And because you're watching this YouTube channel, use this offer code to take an additional $10 off ticket price. To learn more, visit homesteadingish.com. Alright, so let's see if we can place this gently in the one partial flat spot that I have here. And I say flat spot, kind of tongue-in-cheek. Release. Not too bad. What do you think, Dane? Maybe another one, buddy. Just hold on to your curly tail. We're almost there. Yes. And one on this side. Horsefly's getting you. Oh, calm down, you hateful thing. You hateful. So here's what's crazy. This spot always, underneath this beech tree, underneath this rock outcrop, in one of the lowest spots in the valley, is usually always mud. This has been a great wallow for Dan and Merida. Not much mud at all right now, of course. And in August we have about that 3-4 week window where it's horsefly season. So it's a double whammy. They're getting the horseflies on them. They can't roll in the mud to take care of that. And of course they can't wallow. Now fortunately they have a lot of shade, so I'm not worried about them dying of heat exposure or sun exposure or heat exhaust because there's plenty of shade. It's actually quite cool where I'm standing right now. But let me show you. You've got the culvert up here. Usually you always have that wash that comes out of the downstream side of a culvert that creates a hole of water, and that's been my fallback, what I would hoped would have been my buffer on dry times. So right here is that washout, and normally I'd be standing in water right now, and it's kind of ridiculous how much it's dried up. I think what I can do is actually move these step-in posts a little further back because they're obviously intimidated by the electric and they're not going to get full access to that. So we're going to move this back just a little bit. Don't move back too far though, they just walk under it either. Alright. So that gives them a little bit of access, but that water will be gone in another day, I bet. So that's why we have to use the trough. So from this point down, and I'll show you here on the map where we are in case you're wondering, this point down all the way to where this stream dumps into the main stream, there is not a stitch of water. You can't find a little puddle, can't find anything like that. You may be able to find just a little bit of damp soil or mud, but that's really dry. The valley has really drained itself dry. So we are definitely dealing with a worst case scenario right now. But let's go check on the other pigs and see what their water situation looks like. They have a little bit better setup. They're not relying on a natural reservoir like this. Okay, so here behind the farrowing barn, I've had this IBC tote set up for years on this on the scaffolding. In fact, the scaffolding is starting to get a little rotted. And usually what I do, even in the summertime, because we have plenty of rain, well, we have enough rain that it's not an issue, is I usually just leave this valve cracked open a little bit. That way when we get a heavy rain event, it fills it up some, but it just drips down into this trough and provides water. We got a little bit of frog slime here. But when the drought started, I came up and shut this off, of course, so we could catch all the water. And I don't think I ever got it full. I think we just got it half full at most. So since then, I've opened this valve a couple times, several times, to give the pigs water. T-posts everywhere. So we need to fill this back up. So this trough is big enough that it'll provide water for a while for them. It's small enough that my breeding sets won't try to wallow in it. Now they've had wallows. I just noticed the one wallow that was left looks like it's pretty much dried up. They were at least able to get into it and get a little coating of mud earlier this week, but looks like that ship has sailed as well. If you put enough water in it, it's too heavy for them to flip it over. So this is the last wallow. This is the lowest wallow they have in this pasture. It's right here behind the barn in the workshop. And you can see it's pretty much done. It's fed by a lot of the water coming off the back of the barn, and then water just coming down the mountain. But it's dry as a bone. It'd be nice to get in here with a piece of equipment and dredge some of this out, but we don't have a piece of equipment. Well, it looks like we've drained about a third of our tank. That, I believe, is a 250 gallon. And that one's either 300 or 350 gallon. All right, I think that's enough. I'm not going to fill this tank up. Got half left in my IBC tote up there. Don't want to put all my eggs in one receptacle. Ooh, that's slimy. All right, so let's go take some water to those swine. Come on, turn. Hold, please. Don't knock my camera over, you jerk pig. If I just had the right nozzle attachment for this tote, I could just gravity feed it, but I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to do a siphon, or we're going to have to hook up the pump. Let's see. If I siphon, I don't want to hear a lot of comments about my ability to create a siphon through a garden hose. horse. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is leave the trailer right where you guys are. I can still get my side-by-side around if I need to go to the back of the property. Also have multiple roads. But that should be the only place where I need to transport water for now. The farrowing barn tote is going to have enough for maybe a week and a half. This should be about 3 weeks. But forecast is calling for rain. What is today? Wednesday, Thursday, yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 4 days calling for rain consecutively, but we're also supposed to get some of that Tropical Storm Debbie, which we got 0. It didn't cross the mountains. So if water doesn't fall out of the sky anytime soon, or at least for the rest of this month, you may be asking, well, Troy, what is your contingency? Well, my contingency would be to take the trailer rig here about a half mile down the road. The poor horse, look at the horse flies. I know, you think I'm beating up on you. Contingency would be to take the trailer and the pumping rig down to the, about a half mile down the road where we have another, all right, Dan, come over here, you can have it. You big chicken. Ever since I vaccinated him, he's been leery of me. Half a mile down the road where there's a decent hole of water, 2 valleys converge, and I can pump water out of that. If you saw that last video I did where we were watering Kelly's garden using this rig, then you know, it takes about an hour with my pump to fill that up. I've got the solar power generator, so I've got plenty of juice to run the pump, and can fill it up in an hour. And I've got another tote. I can obviously rob my blueberry tote if I have to, and fill it up as well. Move it to another location. But I'm hoping for rain. They say this dry spell is supposed to break here soon. Well, I think this will take care of our pig gang for a couple weeks, as I mentioned. And hopefully we'll get some more rain by then. Yeah, there's always lessons to be learned in these situations. And I think the lesson from this is just more rain catchment, more impoundments. We've got to get some more ponds built on this place that's holding water so I can utilize that. The little ones I have are dried up because they're just small impoundments around culverts. Need to get some serious ponds built. Well, if you're like us and you need rain, I pray you get some rain too. If you're like a lot of people I've talked to and you've got too much rain, send some of it our way. We could use it. Well, I pray everyone have a great week. Thanks so much for watching. You all take care. Angry pigs. Excuse me there, basketballs.